Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with some more countermeasures goodness. Another intermission for you this week, and this is for the film Dune, which is due out later this year, and this is the trailer which just dropped this week. This film is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is a personal favourite of mine. He recently did the Blade Runner 2049 film, the follow-up to Blade Runner, and I absolutely love that movie. They were very true to the source material of that particular universe, and that gives me great hope for this remake of the Dune movie. Judging from the trailer, they're staying very close to the storyline and the style of things I always imagined when I read the novel years and years ago. Now, the source material, it was written by a guy called Frank Herbert way back in 1965, and this source material has spawned many projects over the years that have not quite got off the ground or not been quite that successful, purely because I feel that this subject matter and the storytelling and the whole idea of this universe was so far ahead of its time that people have struggled to capture the enormity of this world, this sort of living, breathing world. Now, just looking at this trailer, immediately I feel that the scope of the huge ships and the massive landscapes that are described in the book are already being they're already being taken care of as far as the visuals go. So I feel like the source material is in pretty good hands. Now, the original version of the Dune film was directed by David Lynch back in 1984, and while I personally thought it was very good, it had a lot of critics over the years saying that it didn't really, in terms of the style and the pacing, didn't really feel like the books, didn't really feel like the way that the story should unfold. Now, I'm hoping that with this movie it is a little bit more true to that, and there's no escaping the fact that it feels very Game of Thrones. Probably why it got such a huge green light to give it another go. I mean, it's even got Jason Momoa in it, so it's really sort of pulling on those the heartstrings of any Game of Thrones fan. Now, it could be that when old George R.R. Martin was writing back in the day, I'm sure he read Dune at some point and probably was influenced by the stories of all these different families interacting with each other and having problems and issues with each other, which is a very strong plot line throughout this entire series, and is a strong plot line throughout Game of Thrones. So I'm interested to see the parallels there. Now, like I said, this film's been, they've been trying to make it for years and do it justice. And I believe now that we are at a time where CGI and all of the green screening and computer-generated imagery and all of that kind of process and post-production is at such a place where it's so seamless and brilliant. I really feel like they've got a chance of really bringing this all together and visualizing it on screen in a way that we probably have never seen before. So I'm very, very excited about that. Now, the original film had loads of problems. There were other spin-offs that came after that and other projects based around the Dune series that never quite made it. So this is a long time coming, and I think anyone that's a fan of the series, like I am, I think is I'm totally psyched about it. So I can't wait. Now, I won't go too much into details of the story, but ultimately the story is about a young lad called Paul Atreides, and he goes on a sort of personal journey finding out what his family is like, the threat to his world, etc. So it's really good. Now, this actor, I don't actually know what his name is, but he looks a little bit too Twilight for my liking, and he feels a bit young, but I think that's maybe just in my head I thought he'd be a little bit older, but they've obviously cast him because he can do the job. I can't imagine, looking at the cast of this film, that they've fallen down anywhere. I think the casting's really spot on. They've got all the faces there, including my old friend Oscar Isaac, because anyone who knows me knows that I met Oscar Isaac a few years ago and haven't stopped talking about it. We're all buddies, and he's in this, and he's always brilliant in everything, even though I'm obviously biased. I'll post the picture up in a sec as well, but yeah, we met once years ago. Anyway, So yeah, like I said, this whole story is well ahead of its time. So I'm looking forward to them sort of really bringing it together. It's obviously over the years influenced a lot of stories and cyberpunk stories and fantasy stories and sci-fi stories. My only slight fear is that anyone new to the series watching this will think that a lot of the ideas that are in this film and in this story have been ripped off from other places. But because it's been around for such a long time, more than likely it's the other way around, is that some recent TV show that somebody's been watching probably pulled ideas from this, as well as many other stories. So there may be some similarities there, so I'm hoping that doesn't sort of spoil the pot too much. Now, I haven't got the sound on as usual, I've just got myself and my backing track. This has a Pink Floyd tune running over the trailer, so I didn't want to get a copyright strike for that. But again, it's just really well done and really well cut and put together. They show you just enough to give you a taste, but not too much that it spoils it. And to be honest with you, I probably won't watch any other trailers now before the film comes out, and hopefully that's not going to get delayed. I don't believe it's delayed till next year, but the state of everything at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. It is due to come out in 2020. So like I said, the actor roster looks really good. There's some good people coming up in this. The costume, I have to talk about the design obviously, because that's what I like to do, and the design of the costumes and everything just looks so awesome. I mean, like, they've really gone to town with that kind of future practical look, and it's still twinned slightly with a kind of Egyptian feel, and I just really like the design of it and the way they've pulled this all together. And like I said, the right crops of this trailer, and it could be a scene from Game of Thrones. So for me, it's ticking all the boxes, and I do really hope that they do it justice. Now, the whole story behind this is there is a prophecy, and I guess as things progress, we'll find out what Paul Atreides' link to that is. Now, I also want to talk about the ship designs as well, and all the CGI. Like I said, I mean, that stuff's seamless these days, so I can't wait to see how that all turns out. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Now, the other thing that I did feel about this trailer is that I was getting a little bit of a kind of Star Wars Attack of the Clones vibe at one point. Now, again, anyone that knows me knows I'm a massive Star Wars fan and have been. I was born in 77. Star Wars came out in 77, and gradually over my lifetime, I've seen that entire brand be completely diluted down into something that just doesn't. It was a good idea back in the sort of 70s and early 80s, and every day that passes, that whole concept, the Star Wars universe just gets more and more broken down to the point where I love the original films, the original trilogy, and then every film that's come out since then has just, my interest has just waned further and further and further. Now, what I'm really hoping is that this film does actually, breathe a bit of life into the whole kind of sci-fi, epic sci-fi story, the fantasy story that really I think a lot of people are craving. I know that I certainly am. So I'm hoping that this is that good. I mean, the book is. There's no reason that the film shouldn't be. I know that there's a sequel planned for this film, and there's also an HBO TV series which is also planned. So hopefully they won't do a Star Wars and kind of just milk it for all it's worth and turn it into something really good. And like I said, I've got high expectations and high hopes for this. It's long time coming, like I mentioned before, and I am really excited about it. Now, I can't wrap up this little kind of preview of the trailer without mentioning the Dune logo, which appears all throughout the the repeats of this trailer that I'm putting up here, and I do really like the branding for this. I think they've done a really good job. Anything that's that simple, where they've obviously been able to take they've used the curve of the D as the U and the N and the E. I think that really works really nicely, and I do think they've spent a lot of time focusing on that as well as everything else that goes into this movie. More often than not, you watch a film that's heavy CGI, heavy concept, and really quality movie, but then the logos and the branding that surround that tend to be a load of garbage, whereas this one feels like, it feels in keeping with the style of the whole movie, and and I do actually like the simplicity of it, so hats off to the design team for that. Now, like I said, I'm really psyched for this movie. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm ready. I hope it does actually come out this year, because I think, aside from watching Bond, which comes out in November, this is the other one that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll get to see it in the cinema. But you might be doing it video on demand or whatever. Who knows? But let's wait and see. So with that, I would just like to say, be good, stay safe, and be kind to one another. Cheers.